Hello to another episode of the Data and Analytics live stream, the Data Science Show. And today I have Mustafa here, and he tells us a little bit about AI and data. And I start a little bit with the administrative stuff. So we are an open network, so everyone who attend can write lion in the chat, so each other knows that you are open to connect. Also, we have the presentation from Mustafa, and after that, we have a Q&A session, so you can ask your questions in the chat, and we collect them here. So feel free to ask questions. Also, we have a meetup group. So I think on LinkedIn, it's a little on YouTube. It's a little bit hard to find live streams. So you can find all on our meetup group. Also, you can connect with the people there if you have an account. And before we start, let me also ask a question. So let us see where you come from. Write us the city and the land where you come from. Also, you see, like Mustafa is a guest speaker. You can also become a guest speaker. You can check out on our Data Science Show website. And we have also the option to sponsor us. So you are also welcome or sponsor. You find more information about sponsoring on our website. And also, you can get a certificate for this event. So you have go to the link. Later, I also posted in sorry, I posted here in the chat, so you can also go there. And yeah, so Mustafa, you are not only presenter, you also have your own show, is it right? Okay, I know
Yes.
it. I was in your show, but tell a little bit about the show.
Now, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure, and thanks for attending my show as well, which is let's talk about data. I have been doing that for last 6 months. We do it on a weekly basis, sometime couple of times in a week, and we are a little bit more technical. In fact, our today's session will be on technical side. So I normally touch base data and AI topics with data folks around the globe. And I'm privileged to talk to a lot of senior people around the globe, just like you. You shared us this recruitment via AI product, which was a pleasure to hear. Yeah, and that's how we go. Yeah, enjoying myself.
Okay, cool. Then I put your presentation on the stage and I left the stage and collect the questions. So yeah, and enjoy the session.
Thank you, thank you. So again, my name is Mustafa Kazalbash, and just a quick background, right? I'm from in data industry for last 20 plus years, and quite a bit of time in data and AI. AI as well is quite new, but in data side, I worked on Oracle, IBM, SQL, Microsoft, and all those kind of technologies. The slide which you are seeing onto your screen, I was working on this architecture for last 5 years, and I came up with my own architecture, which is there on your screen now. Uh, it hasn't been fully implemented anywhere, but I have been talking to a lot of organizations and people sharing ideas, and this is what we have now. I will go through this deck with you guys now, and you guys can comment and ask questions. And end of the session, we can take all those questions. Okay, let's quickly go through this deck. So again, before we go into all slides, I always start with value creation cycle, where I believe any project, any data product, any kind of initiative has to go through this cycle, that there should always be questions you expect to get out of the product which you are building. And once you have those questions you ask, you always have the answers. So normally, traditionally, we create a product. We say, hey, this product can dig out these kind of information for us. And then once that information is out, uh, a lot of times actions are not taken. So I believe once you have the answers out, you must have actions planned on those answers. And story doesn't finish there. Once you have an actions, every action must have a value attached to it. So this whole cycle need to be finished before you embark onto a journey for any kind of project. So same for our DaaS architecture. We believe that once you start moving into DaaS architecture or adopting DaaS architecture, always follow this value creation cycle. Once you have this whole cycle with you, there's a concept of information product canvas as well, where you ask businesses that which kind of questions you want to ask from a product which you are building, which kind of answers you are expecting, and what next step is. Always once you get the answers, what actions you're going to take, and those actions will generate what value. So this is what information product canvas is all about, and same is being projected here. So I always start with this slide. Now if we go to the next slide, where I'm sharing the overview of DaaS architecture, that currently how this DaaS architecture came into picture, how this idea actually came into picture. Actually, the biggest challenge right now organizations are facing is the integration and maintainability. And traditionally, all data and AI solutions, or you can say products, or you can say whatever you call it, they are sitting in silos. Last time we had silos in source systems, in OLTP applications, and we used to call it as our dark data. We came out of it, we start pulling that into our warehouses. Then lakehouse came, and then data lake was there. A lot of all those semantic layers, all those things came in. The idea was to bring everything into one place and to do kind of analysis or analytics. But unfortunately, as so much of product being created, we end up having so many data products and AI products sitting separately. And currently, the biggest challenge for AI is to have the availability of data. I do hear every now and then that people are struggling to get data for AI. So the whole idea of this whole DaaS architecture is to unify data and AI architectures, bring those into one unified architecture. That is how the whole journey started for DaaS architecture. But it didn't stop there. There are many other benefits there, which I will go through with you. So this is the overview of DaaS architecture. Now, whenever we embark onto a journey of anything, what we do first? First, we identify target audience. So, for DaaS architecture, the target industries can be any industry which are focusing on data and AI initiatives. Now, the question is, are there any industries which are not focused on data and AI? The answer is no. Everybody is looking into data and AI. So, DaaS is applicable anywhere. When we say anywhere, it can be telco, it can be banking, it can be oil and gas, it can be health, insurance, and any other industries, as I mentioned, who are embarking on the journey of data and AI initiatives. So, not only industries now, the next step, once you identify industry, target industry for your solution, for your product, for your initiative, as a consultancy company or a product company, you target personas, that which personas can take benefit out of your solution. So for DaaS architecture, it can support CDOs, CAOs, CIO, CTO, head of data science, operations teams, AI operations teams, business unit leaders, product owners, compliance officers, finance officers, and enterprise architects. So these are the high level personas which are being targeted by DaaS architecture. So I will go one by one how each persona has problem statements and how DaaS architecture tag those problem statements. So these are the target personas. Now, once you identify personas, right, and target audience, what's your next step? Next step is to identify problem statements, right? Now, when we go towards problem statements, so before I jump into technical problem statements related to DaaS, I would like to share organization level problem statements. So in current era, I do see that there are high level, very high level, there are three major problem statements every organization is facing right now. As we all know that everyone in the organizations or globally have data and AI ecosystems already implemented, if not very mature, but everybody have it. So the first problem statement which I see every organization have is problems arising post implementation. So you have all the architecture solutions sitting there, but you have problems. Problems can be an example I've given. A data product works very good when you're implementing, but it slows down the system once more and more data comes in. So scalability is an issue. Many other issues are there, but this is the high level. When we say scalability, you can segregate compute layer with the storage layer. When storage goes out, goes a lot of data comes in. You end up having data ownership issues. You will end up having cost recovery problems. All those issues start coming in. So this is the high level type of problem every organization faces, which is problem arising post implementation. Second one, problem restricting for unclear new initiatives. So this is also a very big problem nowadays as AI has surfaced in this era. So many solutions are coming in, so many tools and technologies are coming in, and organizations are not aware which technology to select. Gen AI is one of the example. It just came in like a wave in last 6 to 8 months back, and everybody want to embark onto Gen AI, but people do not know which technology to use. So that is a second type of problem statement every organization is facing right now. And the third one, last but not the least, unrealized industry specific problems. If you are working into an organization, you do not know what other organizations are implemented, what other potential opportunities and solutions that are not aware and exist in your industry. So the competitor, for example is competitor leveraging AI for predictive analytics while your organization is unaware of that feasibility. So many new solutions are coming, and in an organization they have enough only certain bandwidth to go and research and look into the market which use cases are there. So this is also a problem statement. So you have a problem statement that the things you have implemented have problems, the things you want to implement but you do not know how to implement, and those things which you do not even know what to implement. So these are the high category problem statements which I do foresee currently at an organizational level. Today, our DaaS architecture will be tagged with the first type of problem, which is very much technical. As you can see, problem arising post implementation. So DaaS is an architecture, of course. So it targets when things you have been implemented. When you say post implementation, of course, my assumption is people 99% already have the data and AI solutions or product implemented and they want to fix the problem. But having said that, it's not like that. If someone want to start from scratch, which I don't think, but if they want to start from scratch, they can still use DaaS architecture. So we will target the first type of the problem statement. Now, as we have gone through the personas, right, we have identified there are 6 types of personas which can take benefit from DaaS architecture. So these are the 6 personas. We will identify each persona is having which kind of problem statements. So as we have seen, there are 3 types of organization level problem statements, and we are targeting the first one. So now, which kind of problem statements each persona get? For example, CDO and CA, they do foresee, they do see this kind of challenges like fragmented data and AI ecosystem, which is the core, which is the initiative of this DaaS architecture, right? Because CDOs want to see how many data solutions and AI solutions are being implemented, and whether those are compliance and whether there are security risks. There's a lack of unified view. There's a very good tool into the market. I think I can name it YOI. I came across this thing. It's a French company. It gives you an end-to-end monitoring of data and AI initiatives in your organization. And when you say end-to-end monitoring, it gives you from idea up to adoptability. So when you implement this DaaS architecture, it creates into such a way that tools like UE can really take input from this architecture and give you a unified view. So these are the problem statements technically CDO and CAO faces. If we go towards CIO and CTO, so the other challenges which they face is data ownership conflicts, cost tracking and management, scalability and vendor flexibility. So these are the challenges which CIO and CTO are facing in current era. If we talk about data science team and AI team, as I mentioned, disconnected data and AI environments. As I mentioned, the biggest challenge currently for AI teams or data science team is data is not available. If data is available, quality of data is not available. If quality of data is available, or to make it quality, data science teams are doing data engineering work. So all these things, challenges are there. Scalability challenges. So they are also facing scalability challenges, lack of visibility across AI and data operations. Seems like you can see that CDO is also facing the same kind of issue, which is lack of unified view. Now, if we go towards business leaders and product owners, they also see data ownership conflicts, fragmented insight, and missed alignment. If we go towards finance and compliance department, again, they have a challenge to see cost management and tracking, compliance and regulatory risks, and last but not the least, enterprise architect, which is the architect teams. They also see fragmented data and AI architectures, scalability and vendor lock-in. That's a challenge, governance and data integrity risks. So you can see all these six kind of personas have so many challenges as per their own persona. But what if we summarize those, group those into architectural level problem statements? So as you can see, all these oranges right into the middle, you can see those can be categorized. Okay, let me name those: fragmented data AI ecosystem, disconnected AI disconnected data and AI environments, fragmented insight and misalignment, and fragmented data and AI architectures all can come under siloed data and AI ecosystem, a generic problem statement. We can go on like this: data ownership conflict, cost management and recovery, governance and regulatory challenges, scalability constraint and vendor lock in, and unified channel challenges. So now if I connect all these six standard generic problem statement with all personas, it will look like this. As you can see that siloed our data and AI ecosystem is a problem statement for CDO, is a problem statement for head of data science, it's a problem statement for business leaders and product owners, it's a problem statement for enterprise architects. So it's a generic, these are the generic problem statements where which we are going to tag with DaaS architecture, how DaaS architecture can help to or assist to cater these challenges. Now, if you go to the next slide, so the architectural challenges or problem statements which I showed you, now we'll go through that. What are the impact of those and what are the estimated losses as per I researched on Google and ChatGPT, and these are the numbers which I've come up with. So as you can see that siloed data and AI ecosystem, right? What is the impact actually? The impact is inefficient decision making, redundant efforts, difficulty in extracting information, slower time to market, and reduce innovation. So this one problem statement can have an impact, or this kind of impact on our organization, which can give you a 20 to 30% productivity loss, innovation delay, 10 to 15% revenue loss. So these are just average numbers, right? Gathered from here and there. AI driven value loss, 5 to 10% profit margin dip. Now if you go towards data ownership conflict, so missed so impact is missed collaboration opportunities and inefficient data management, slowdown in AI project and decision making. What happens? What is the losses? Project delays 6 months to 1 year. If your product cannot go to the market, your time to market delays for a 6 months, and increase, which will cost you increase operational cost of 5 to 10% higher, loss innovation potential, 10% revenue loss. So these are the losses you can see these two technical problem statements can give you. Cost management. The next one is cost management and recovery. Inefficient, what is the impact? Inefficient use of resources, difficulty tracking and justifying expensive, challenges in recovering investment and demonstrating ROI, of course. So overspending of 15 to 25 on data and AI operations, cost recovery issues, 10% of budget unaccounted for. So if you don't have a track of cost recovery and management, this is what you lose. ROI loss on AI, 10 to 20% loss. Next one is governance, regulatory challenges, legal risk, fines and reputation damage, impact on data quality, AI model accuracy and compliance. Now the losses you can get on top of those is legal compliance fines. Big thing, 1 million to 50 million based on the past incidents happen globally. Reputation damage, 10 to 20% customer base loss. AI inefficiencies, 20 to 30% reduction in AI model accuracies. Next one is, so these are the, I'm just going through what are the impacts and what are the estimated loss an organization have because of these problem statements. Scalability constraint, vendor lock-in, limited flexibility due to the reliance on suboptimal tools, bottleneck in data processing and AI workload. What is the impact? Operational delay, 15 to 20 plus percent slowdown in AI model training, data pipeline expansion, increased cost of 10 to 15% cost due to the vendor lock-in. Vendor lock-in is one of the biggest issue right now. DaaS architecture caters. I will show you how we segregate compute layer with the storage layer. So you write once and read for life, right? So I will show you that in architectural discussion. Then unified channel challenges, fragmented insight and inefficiencies in decision making, duplicate effort and longer turnaround times. Now the challenges are, or the losses, potential losses are inefficient management, 15% productivity loss, missed optimization opportunities up to 5 to 10%, slower response to market challenges, 5 to 50% revenue loss. As you can see, right, all these things cost you so many losses and revenue losses and operational cost. So now the question is, when you have problem statements, definitely you want something. You want to fix those problems. And then when you use DaaS architecture, what you get? So we have mapped those. Now, problem statements, as you can see, these 6 problem statements we just went through with you. Against these problem statements, what you want, what anyone want in an organization, or those personas want from those the DaaS architecture. So siloed data and AI ecosystem and governance and regulatory challenges, those personas want one unified architecture and centralized governance for all data and AI initiatives. That is what they want. For data ownership conflict, what they want? They want end-to-end data ownership in place. For cost management recovery, they want end-to-end cost recovery in place. Scalability constraint, they want to write once and use for life. No more data migrations. Right after 3 to 5 years, every organization have a project to migrate the data from one technology to another technology. So we have a solution for that as well. Unified channel challenges. You want to source data into one centralized zone for everyone to process. You want to expose data in one centralized zone for everybody to consume. What I'm trying to say is, if you have 50 source systems and you have 50 data products to consume, you don't want 50 to hit source systems 50 times. So it's 50 multiplied by 50. Should not do that. You bring data at a one place, which we call it integration hub. We'll show you in coming slides. We want everyone to bring data into one centralized place, do a standardization of data, and then everybody to hit that layer. We'll go through that. And then we are also proposing virtualization layer. We are saying everyone end up going to a virtualization layer and all accesses and management are done over there. So I'll show you that. So now you had problem statements. What you want are your wish list and what you get out of DaaS architecture. So first two challenges where we are saying, if you want a one unified architecture that centralized governance for all data and AI initiatives, what you get? You get integrated hybrid data and AI architecture, which will include enterprise and business units. You will get centralized governance, data and AI blueprint. You will have end-to-end metadata. You will have technology agnostic architecture where there will not be any potential no vendor lock-in. The next three challenges, right? That you want end-to-end data ownership, you want an end-to-end cost recovery, and you want to write once and use for life. For this, what DaaS is giving you is segregation of compute and storage layer. It totally decouple both. Then last but not the least is unified channel challenges where you wanted one centralized zone to process whole source data and one centralized zone to consume. For this, DaaS architecture proposes integration hub for centralized source and virtualization one window. So we call it one window, one door for incoming and one window for outgoing. So that is how you get your problem statement with your wish list versus your DaaS architecture. We are just doing the mapping here. Next, value organizations can get. So once you have data and AI cognitive architecture with you, what gains you can do in dollar value? So once you have integrated hybrid data and architectures, potential ROI increase of 5 to 10 million annually by scaling successful data and AI initiatives, increase cross-functional collaboration, which will drive efficiencies worth around 5 million. Again, these numbers are uh, estimated numbers found from different articles, papers, researches on Google and ChatGPT. That is how we have come up with these numbers, because of course we haven't end-to-end implemented DaaS as of now. But what we are saying is, if you have one integrated hybrid data in architecture, like if you have you are an organization, if you have data and AI architecture sitting separately, you are losing a lot of money, which we have shown you in previous slide. Now, if you combine those and have an hybrid unified model, this is the annual benefit you can get. Now, centralized governance. If you have a centralized governance possibility in your architecture, what gain you can take? 10 to 20% improvement in decision making efficiency, 15 to 25% increase in actionable insights. So this is what you can get. End-to-end metadata. Okay, nowadays people do not focus on metadata. I personally believe in not in very far future, metadata will become one of the key data element for your organization, because data is Data is growing so huge that it will might not be possible to do analytics on actual raw data. You have to look into metadata. And when we talk about metadata, there are many types of metadata. There is operational metadata, there is technical metadata, there is business metadata. Then there is taxonomies, there are ontologies, there are graphs, all those metadata. Most of the reporting, in my personal view, most of the reporting will be done on metadata. And when people wanted to go into further in detail level, that is where they will hit data. Next, so having metadata in place, right, 20 to 30% decrease in data errors, compliance risks, potentially avoiding fines and losses worth 1 to 10 million annually. Where this number come from? Google or ChatGPT must have pulled it out from some white papers, or some organization might have that publicly information available. That is where it has come from. Technology agnostic, long term operational saving worth 1 to 5 million annually by reducing cost of compliance and avoiding vendor lock-in. As I mentioned, once you have an architecture where you can potentially, I would say 90 to 95%, get yourself not vendor lock-in. This is the benefit you can get. Now, segregated, if you have a segregated compute and storage layer, all these benefits you can get. I won't go into detail. There are a lot of there. After this session, once we upload this, I will upload this deck onto the online, and you guys can go through. Same goes through integration hub, virtualization layer, all these benefits and value gains each organization can have. Now, so we understand, okay, let me go a little bit back. So we understood what target audience we have, what problem statements we have. With the problem statements, what potential losses you can have, what potential gains you can get. So this is the business level, I would say, benefits or value add organization can get from DaaS architecture. Now let's go a little bit more deeper into DaaS architecture. That what is DaaS architecture? See, it's a next generation architecture in my point of view that breaks down traditional silos between data and AI architectures. Its capabilities include unified and AI architecture that ensures data ownership and accessibility, alongside cost segregation and recovery mechanism that allow for precise cost tracking, allocation, and optimization of resources. As I mentioned right in the start, the whole idea of this DaaS architecture came into my mind because I see every organization have data and AI sitting separately. Once you bring those in, all silos are gone. And then it can empower organization to leverage the full spectrum of data and AI in your organization. So this is what high level DaaS architecture is. You have sources, you have integration hub, you have governance end to end, you have virtualization layer, of course you have target, and then right in the middle, you have enterprise zone, you have business zones, and then you have a concept of Alpha Bravo Charlie, which is not a rocket science. It is same like old traditional our warehousing concept where we had landing, where we had staging, we had transform layer. I have break down those into multiple pieces for everybody to understand. Then we have principles which will bound the solutions to tightly couple so it doesn't break down. That's the whole idea. I do not like the idea of those architectures where organizations comes and tell you, hey, you can do whatever you want. No, you can do whatever you want based on the principles, because if you let organizations or anyone to do whatever they want, then they can create their own. The whole idea of proposing some kind of out of the box architecture is to share your experiences, learn from your experiences based on your lesson learned, and then you build someone so others takers can take advantage of this rather than they can do whatever they want. Now, if you go to the next slide, so I'm breaking down. So you can see here, you have integration hub, you have virtualization layer, and you have governance. So these three things are mandatory for us. Whoever want to use DaaS must have these three components embedded into their architecture. We won't go through these three now. In coming slides, I will go through centralized integration hub, centralized serving, but now let's go through centralized data governance. So once we have data, because this DaaS architecture is a decentralized architecture, you can have enterprise tenant over there, and you can have business zones, business tenants over there. So okay, let me give you an example is data mesh. So whoever from you guys have worked on data mesh says you need to have domains. So conceptually is a great idea. You need to identify domains. So we are not 100% following that. What we are saying here is every organization can have enterprise solution and can have domain level of business level solutions in a decentralized manner. So nowadays people want coming out of centralized, going into a decentralized ecosystem, which we call it federated ecosystem as well. That is where we end up creating data products. So every domain, every LOB, every business subject area can have their own data product, but then there is an enterprise data. Actually, let me also bring that angle as well, because a lot of people get confused with enterprise warehouse or enterprise solution. People think that's what I see a lot of places, and I get a lot of feedback on it. We think you have an enterprise solution and whole enterprise can hit on that solution. No, that's not the right approach. Enterprise solution means you can do enterprise decisions on it, enterprise level decision. If a department and LOB want to take a decision, they create their own data product. For department level, LOB level, business domain level, have your own products. But if C level, MD level, or top management want to have a have some kind of reporting, dashboarding, analytics on all those other data products, then you create that data set in your enterprise tenant or enterprise solution or enterprise data product, whatever you want to call it. An enterprise decision being should be made onto that enterprise warehouse. Not it's not an it's not an operational data warehouse. It's an enterprise data warehouse. So once you have this federated approach or decentralized approach where you have enterprise and all those business data products, you need a centralized team. A centralized team. Okay, let me go one step further. So once you have all those data product, right, you will end up finding data product owners. Every product need to have a business data product owner who should know this product will be used for which use case, how much value will be generated. So business product data product owner have the visibility that this product is generating this value, this solution, and this business is using it. Okay, good, very good. But at bottom, which technology being used, business product owner normally don't care and should not care. That is where this centralized data governance team comes, COE team comes, to have the blueprint on their hand, to let every product owner, business product owner, to know, hey, you build a product. The moment you started, you mentioned that 10,000 users will come onto this product. This product will generate $1 million a year. This product will cost us 3 million, and within 3 years the ROI will be made, and you will start generating revenue from fourth year onwards. But that's not the end of the story. The moment you go live, you need to start onboarding businesses on that product. You plan, you assume that 1000 users will come onto that product. Then how many users have started using it? How many users are using on a frequently basis? How many users are asking more data? How many users are really accessing and taking a decision? All this blueprint, business product owner might not know. Which technology being used? Has those technologies being expiring? Any patches happen? Are those technologies going to expire? Do we need new technology? The technology which we are using in one product, data product, can those technologies can be used to other products? Business product owner might not know. This COE team will know. You call it COE team, you call it run and maintenance team, you call it data governance team, whatever you want to call it. But there has to be a team who should manage this blueprint. That's my suggestion. That's what DaaS architecture expects from an organization to have that. Else you will hit the wall. Now we go next. What is next? Again, let's go towards a quick jump onto the reference architecture. So you have governance. Within governance, you have data management policies, standards, data governance framework, data quality management, compliance and legal requirements. You have data stewardship, data access and authorization, security, lifecycle, metadata, data ethics. All those things are part of the data governance. Then you have infrastructure. In DaaS, you can implement on any cloud. You can implement on-prem wherever you want to implement. Then, just like any other data warehouse architecture, you have sources. Sources can be databases, can be cloud services, can be social media, file, sensor media, and XYZ. Then integration you can do via API, database connection, CDC. It can be a CDC or dump. It can be batch real time, pull and push messaging, and whatever technology is available over there. DaaS architecture support that. Then there are data stores. We all know there is relational databases, there is NoSQL databases, there are object storages, and then you can process. You have to process, you have to enrich, you have to put rules in, event processing, standardization. All those things are supported by DaaS architecture. Then analytics you will be able to do. So this is another big piece. Data and AI has to work together. You should be able to do data mining. Nowadays nobody cares about data mining, which is equal to data science. Now AI term has come in. Text mining, machine learning, deep learning, all those things are supported in DaaS. And last but not the least, there's a decision support layer where you can do data discovery. Lakehouse can sit there, OLAP systems can sit there, dashboard, report charts, like Gen AI charts are there, searches are there. All those are supported in DaaS architecture. Then if we go to the next level, data flow, how data normally flow. Again, it's not a rocket science because again, it's a data architecture. Nothing which nobody has done it, but it just bring everything together. You have an integration method. Oops, sorry, wrong button. Then you have landing layer, you have consuming layer, you have serving layer. You do a batch or real time data near real time, and you have real time streaming data. Once you have these two joined together, then next is your target is serving, where you want to serve it. So what you do is either you directly serve on your right, you can see you can directly point to point integration, you can directly real time data you can throw into the serving layer, or you take it to the landing layer. Within landing layer, you can have unstructured, structured, semi-structured data sets. As you can see in the middle, on both sides, we have unstructured. Most of the time, we have to convert unstructured into structure and then push it to consumption layer. In consumption layer, what you do is you you can load it into the on your left. You can see NoSQL DB. You can load directly into the Lakehouse or a SQL, any SQL. If you talk about analytics, data science folks can pull directly from unstructured, can pull directly from semi-structure and structure. So all those combinations are there, which DaaS architecture support. This is as far as data flow is concerned. Now we are going a little bit deeper. This is the architecture. As you can see, Alpha Bravo Charlie is missing. You can see now Alpha Bravo Charlie are supported in any kind of data product for enterprise zone and data product for business zone. You can have it anywhere. Now the things will become a little bit more technical. Now, when you start implementing DaaS architecture, what you do in a sequence? First, you define implementation strategies and data governance. This piece need to be there. You should know what is metadata, where metadata will come from. You need to have privacy and data security and privacy policies there. You have to have data quality standards defined over there. You need to know either you're going to implement MLOps, data ops, CI/CD, DevOps, what you're going to do, right? All these things need to be there to start with. Then you need to find out you're going to implement on cloud or on premises. Then you identify source systems. The moment you identify source system, you will identify whether you're going to pull on a batch mode or on a real time or on a near real time. You will define that. The moment you have sources, you need to know where it'll go. It'll go into the target. Target can be any BI technologies. It can be any digital application. It's up to the solution. Third, the moment you have source target, then you pull data into the landing. Once you pull into landing, then you pull into the staging. And as we raised it, this landing and staging, we call it as alpha and we call it integration hub. This is a mandatory zone to implement DaaS architecture. Reason being, we believe if you bring or standardize data up to the staging layer, you're a lot of, because we are on cloud, right? Most of the things are on cloud. You're a lot of consumption power will be saved. What happens? People do not clean the data for data standardization. See, again, let me touch base data quality standards as well. There are two types of data quality standards. One is data standardization. Second is data quality standards for each product. You cannot have all data quality standards for all products. It will become very expensive. Data standardization, I give an example. Your dates are coming into multiple formats. You standardize into one format. You are getting a null value. You remove null value with some digit value or numeric value. You are having a special characters. You remove special characters. You are getting data into multiple codes, you bring into one code. As I mentioned over there, MDM and RDM, you standardize everything up to the staging layer. From where onwards you can start doing the transformation. So now this integration hub is your mandatory. Now once the data reach integration hub, what is the next step? You can directly start serving it. If you have a requirement of a one-to-one data sets, who knows, someone want a real-time data set, they don't want transformation. So you don't need to transform. You can simply connect with the virtualization layer. It can be virtualization, it can be API, up to you. So DaaS architecture do not restrict you with which tool and technology. You can bring your own tool and technology and connect. So you have integration hub, you have serving layer where you have virtualization layer. So these two are mandatory. Now we go next. And next is data science. Now the question is, why not Bravo and Charlie? Because data science can most of the time, or currently most of the time, are hitting raw files or maybe to their feature stores. So they might not need a transform data for some of the use cases. So data science can hit alpha and then go towards serving layer, which is visualization and out, right? At this point, now Bravo and Charlie comes as an optional data stores for you. In Bravo, you can have 3NF data warehouse. I call Bravo as a data preparation layer. One should not hit Bravo directly because Bravo has 3NF warehouse. Bravo have data vault, focal point, anchor modeling, MCIM modeling. These are the standards of data warehousing as of now. If I've missed some few of those, do highlight to me. So this Bravo, we don't, other than data science team, we don't encourage people to hit Bravo. In fact, we ask people not to do it. It's not a best practice. In fact, if you hit Bravo for serving purpose, your compute power will really go up. So from Bravo to Charlie. Now, as I mentioned, these two are optional layers. From Integration Hub, you can go to Bravo and Bravo to Charlie, or you can go from Integration Hub to the serving directly, or you can go from Integration Hub to Charlie, up to you. That is what this is where we are giving optionality, that Bravo and Charlie, based on the user requirement, based on the size of the data, you take a call. For example, you bring data up to staging and you have 3 4 5 tables, that's it, nothing more than that for some critical reporting. So what you can do is, from staging directly you can jump into semantic layer. In semantic layer, you can create denormalized tables, you can create hooks, you can create Papini bridge, you can create graph theories, you can have dimension model, which is Snowflake and Star Schema. By the way, I'm a big fan of having dimensional modeling in Charlie, which is near serving layer, semantic layer, and 3NF and data vault, all those data modeling. I feel it should be into data preparation layer, which is Charlie. So this is the blueprint. That's the whole reason I made this blue. This is the blueprint of DaaS architecture. Of course, it will get mature as time pass, but based on my experience, my team experiences as well, this is a good start for any organization which who want to bring data and AI architectures together. Now, a question can come: where is data and AI together? As you can see, all these things relational are normally structured, but when we talk about features, so this is a AI component. Inference is a AI component. Now, how the hierarchy goes, how the sequence goes, data science team can take a data from source, they can convert into a feature store, and then they run a model and output can go into inference and then go out. That's how it goes. So this feature store source can be raw, source can be transactional data, source can be MDM and RDM, and source can be any kind of data. And then when they pull and then they write, when they write into inferences normally, but they can also write here and there wherever they want. But inferences and feature tables are normally tagged with AI. Now all these sitting into one ecosystem. If I talk about Azure Lingo, it sits into the same RG. If I talk about AWS, it's sent into the same container. But at the same time, you need to be very careful when you are building DaaS architecture. Remember that there is no, just like there is no one silver bullet for everything, there is no one silver architecture for all organization. You have to look into the architecture organization hierarchy. First of all, you need to understand what is their recovery model. Do they want to recover from businesses or not? If it is a small organization, they might need to do a global recovery, that they implement a solution, it costs 1 million, they divide 1 million by 1000 or 10,000 employees and divide and recover from each department. That's a global recovery. But what if you are a medium and large organization? You have different LOBs. You have sales, you have marketing, you have procurement, you have finance. What if you want to break down your architecture in such a way that you should be able to recover costs from each LOB? Then you can go next level. Within LOBs, there are departments. Is the requirement for an organization to recover back from a department level? Then you have to segregate the architecture in such a way that department level cost can be recovered. Excuse me. So this is a blueprint. Remember that you have to understand and you have to go through that cycle as well, which I've shown you right in the first slide, right? So this is how it goes. Now, if you go, so I hope if anybody have any more questions, just write into the comments, and we'll take it in the end. Now, DaaS architecture strategy. How we strategize this? How we come up with this architecture? So this is a traditional enterprise data strategy. This is no rocket science. Everyone uses this. This is best practices around the globe. that you have business alignment, you have data architecture. All these areas are there for every enterprise data strategy. Then you have a standard, globally acceptable standard called as TOGAF. So TOGAF has these business areas, these areas of architecture. They have concept of business architecture, data architecture, application architecture, technology architecture. So these are the four areas TOGAF look into it. Then we have DAMA. DAMA have all these knowledge areas into it. My apologies. Now, what we do in DaaS, our team do, we look into these two, and based on this, we come up with the DaaS architecture strategy. And in these areas, we map what all we are taking from TOGAF and DAMA, what all are not required from TOGAF and DAMA, and what are the separate one new things which are not even in DAMA and TOGAF. So that is how we build the whole DaaS architecture strategy. Then what are the principles? As we know, this is the DaaS architecture you can see right now. So we have defined principles, that these are the principles one must follow. For example, unified governance framework need to be there. Unified metadata catalog standards need to be there. Integration hub need to be there. Unified virtual layer need to be there. Enterprise and business zone need to be there. Global recovery approach need to be there. Dedicated recovery approach need to be there. When you say global, this is for enterprise. Dedicated recovery approach is for business zones. Data models need to be there. Semantic layer need to be there, right? So these are the principles, and there are many principles which we feel organizations must look into it to get best out of DaaS architecture. I won't go through each and every. We will upload this deck, and I will upload on my LinkedIn profile as well the latest slides. You guys can go through it, and you guys can one-to-one contact me if any questions, and my team as well. Now, principle. This was the high-level principle of DaaS. Now the question can come: why to use integration hub, right? Because we made it mandatory. So this is the slide we seen like initially. So these are the reasons why you must use integration hub. Integration hub is to have one-time contractual agreement with all these sources to share the data. I'll give you an example. If you, as we just discussed in our session few minutes back, you have 50 source system, you have 50 target products. Now 50 products need to, let's say, talk about, need to connect with 20 source systems. So all these 50 has to go and do a 50 multiplied by 200 contracts need to be written. 100 contracted agreement. Every product need to go and talk to and write a contract. It takes hell of a time. Legal compliance, legal requirements are there. Cyber security requirements are there. All risks are there. Once you have integration hub, you connect all your source system to the integration hub one time. Now, anyone want to take a data, they can simply go to integration hub and take it. Next product comes and they want the same data. They don't have to go back to the source system. Data is already available. If not, we bring it here. So this way, it will really help organization or assist organization to speed up their integration challenge with the source system. Integration, the next one is, I won't go through everything. Let's say fourth one, to mitigate the risk of data leakage. As we mentioned, if you have everything into one place, you don't have a problem that there are 50 applications that are hitting 50 firewalls, 50 connection to the source system. There might be some 50 hacks. All those things are taken care in DaaS, where you hit only one integration hub. What else? Uh, yeah, the integration hub can also provide CDC data for zones. For example, CDC is a very heavy activity on source systems, and it's not. I won't say it's a very not a very mature technology, but people are still struggling to connect, right? Because it depends what source system allow you? Source system allow you to tap to their transaction log or application log, or they create views for you, or they create another database for application so you can hit. So there are multiple ways CTC can happen. So once you have integration hub, so one time a source system can do a CTC integration hub and target applications can pull it. So all these whys you can go through for integration hub. Oops, there's the slide up there. So you can see there is enterprise tenant product, there is business products, all are hitting to the integration hub, all are taking from one place. So all, consider if there are 50 applications here, all these products go and hit the 50 applications. So many cybersecurity challenges come. Now if you go next, right, now as we mentioned that virtualization layer is also a must in DaaS. Why? So this is the slide we said we discuss later. So these are the whys for virtualization layer. Centralized access point. So when you have the virtualization layer, in virtualization layer, you manage all the outgoing data. So there is one ecosystem which is managing all accesses. I'm not saying that all data products data will be visible there. No, I'm saying there it's a one ecosystem over there where all data product data comes there in one unified place, not data virtualization. Remember that these are views. You end up creating a views. These views can be materialized views. These views can be standard views where data is not pulled. Remember that nowadays there are tools of virtualization which can write back as well. That's a big advantage. For example, you connect your virtualization layer with your data source and you found a bug. Bug is a very small bug. What will happen? You ask your team to go back into the source system and fix it, right? That's a complete cycle. What you can do is, if it is a small fix, minor fix, based on the tool you implemented, virtualization tool can write back directly. So you save the whole cycle of data quality fixing and all those kind of stuff. So this is one advantage of virtualization layer. Data caching, you can do caching over there at one place. So these are all the whys that why you use virtualization layer. So these are few more. Now the question is, now we had two zones, enterprise zone and business zone. Now at a high level, I already shared with you guys that enterprise data product is for enterprise decisions. Business zone and business products are business decisions, which can be LOB, which can be domain, which can be subject area, which can be department and XYZ. Now we have drafted all these principles for enterprise. You can go through later. I won't spend more time because we are already 60 minutes there. I try to wind up this thing. We have one or more two slides on it. So these are the principles for enterprise zones. Okay, let's go through couple. Unified data model. You create an enterprise data product. When it is an enterprise data product, there has to be one unified model. There cannot be multiple unified models. And when I say one unified model, it can be a 3NF, it can be a data vault, it can be a focal point, it can be a anchor, it can be a FCIM, whatever, but it has to be one unified. You cannot have different reporting or different model for different reporting. You have to have one. Shall we hit another one? Consistent master data and reference data. You need to have consistent master data and reference data, which are nothing more than your golden record and your core tables properly managed in a centralized place. Okay, we won't go into further. Now, business zone. What are the principles of business zone? As I mentioned, tailored for a business need, localized decision making, custom data integration, and all those kind of stuff which is focused on business level. Okay, these are all other semantic layer and localized enforcement, localized data quality standards, all those kind of stuff. Yep, I think this is what it is. We are already there for 60 minutes. That was what our target was. I hope you guys understood what I said because I do it every day. So it'll be great if you guys can leave some comments, and I'll be happy to take any questions. Hey, Mirko is back. Hey, Mirko.
Yeah, thank you for first for your presentation. This was awesome and looked very great. I think it was yeah, I like it.
Thank you so
So
much. Shall I stop sharing? How to stop sharing?
I've done it for you.
Again.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I think the people are a little bit shy. I like to ask the first questions, and you say you're working since 5 years on this framework. So
Yeah.
is it a product you have, or is it for I don't know
No,
for
it's a reference architecture. So it's not a tool. Again, you can implement it on any technology. You can implement on in any cloud. Up to you. It gives you actually the idea of how to have an logical or reference architecture in your organization. Yeah.
and what did you think we have? What's a big difference from the traditional frameworks to implement AI? What did you think? It's the key point or the
Yeah, yeah. So as I mentioned in my session as well, that AI need data. Right now, data ecosystem or architecture and AI architecture are sitting separately. They are not joining together. So AI don't have a data. So this is joined together. Now data comes hand to hand with AI. Now AI will not have any problem of having these challenges.
and what did you think? You have some I don't know CTO and so on. What did you think of the normal user? Which benefit get I think the yeah the normal end user in a company.
Yeah, see, again, personas I've defined. As this is an architecture, the advantage for end users, so it's not a product, it's not an application, of course, but the advantage of end users, they can have their own data product. They don't have to be dependent on centralized team to build a product. They can have their own, they can build their own team, a small team, they can build their own data product using sitting into the same unified architecture. You don't have to build multiple architectures actually. Within one architecture, you can serve everyone actually.
Great. Um, I have getting here some confusion with the certificate. When I get it's the certificates only work when you get it per email, and it works only to add per desktop PC. You cannot use it on not add to LinkedIn on mobile. So I hope this helps, and when not, please write me a direct message.
Or someone
And
asked,
so um bum.
what else we have?
Yeah, the people are no, they are I think you have I don't know if you have the people confused or it was really long, so they get all the information, but they can ask if there's like, but most people say it's most interesting and insightful, so yeah, nice.
Getting one messages
Yeah,
that yeah, I will wait, because again, it's not a simple architecture, it's a complicated architecture. I don't expect people to simply jump onto it. They will take their own time, and they can come back to me, and I'm very much available on LinkedIn. In fact, I'm very active on LinkedIn. Anybody who want to jump onto it, let me know. I'm all on. We can do some zooms, and happy to value add actually.
yeah. Well, I think all the people they hope they are not shocked from this great presentation, but they want the chance to become a speaker. We have you have also a show, so the people can also connect with you. So I think they get a lot of reach out when they connect both. Yeah. So I think, yeah, there are no questions. So I think you get the last words for this session.
Now, again, thank you so much for having me. And this was the first session I did on DaaS formally. I've been posting on DaaS on LinkedIn, but never got a chance to do a session. So I think this will be a good reference point for people who want to look into it. Again, it's not something which will solve everybody's problem. It's a humble effort to come up with an architecture which may or may not help people based on their requirement. But that's again a humble effort from my end to add some value into data ecosystem, which I keep doing it. I keep trying to do it.
Mhm.
Am I successful or not? That time will tell. But as of now, this is how it is. Yeah. Thank you so much. Pleasure.
I thank you, and thank you for all the attendees, and I wish a great rest day for the most people. What
Take
time is
care.
it? Is it at Kuala Lumpur?
Kuala Lumpur now it is 8:16 p.m.
Oh, okay, it's human. Okay, so I say goodbye to all, and see you on the next stream.